So aside from £1,300 aero bars, there's another hot aero trend this year, something that has been dubbed aerodynamics. I think that is a great name. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. So pro riders have been spotted wearing odd-looking road helmets from Pock and Kask, which cover the ears. The pictures I've looked at, it's kind of like just sort of the top of the ear.
Yeah.
It covers the sunglasses arm. They look more like they belong in a time trial, but it's thought that they are the new aero lids which will feature more and more in the pro peloton this year. Have you had a look at them, Nick?
Yes, I've seen them. Looks ridiculous, but I like this.
Well, I think the Pock one looks disgusting, but all Pock helmets look disgusting. The Cass one looks really neat. I like the Cass one. It's good.
It's not. So, I spoke to one of the head designers of Pock about this before. Last year when you and I were in London, actually, and you slept in and I went to the presentation. Pock is a bizarre company that came from skiing and they started doing helmets. And they actually, their first helmet, they did the, cycling road helmet, the Octal. The big thing with them is nobody in the actual office and team was road cyclists. They were all mountain bikers and skiers. And if you look at most helmets follow the whole banana-shaped model in terms of it looks like bananas in a row. Pock kind of came out of from the sideline and just kind of redesigned the way helmets are made. Came with new things. And I think this is happening with this as well, where for aerodynamics and at racing, they don't really care what they look like. They just want to make the fastest helmet or the safest helmet in terms of the road bikes. So it doesn't follow like a strict guideline of what has been done for years and years and years, which almost every other helmet brand. And that's what I like about Pock, that it's
ugly.
It's not ugly. I love my Pock helmet. I think it's different.
They famously do that one that kind of, it almost looks like a little Napoleon hat, doesn't it? It sort of bends out of the sides.
The Tempor, that was specifically made for one person and then tested really well. But then they realized eventually that it only tests well if you can ride in a certain position.
Yeah.
But it's so popular that Pock kept on making it. So this helmet, it's not designed for your everyday person. It's just designed for racing and aerodynamics. And like with the Tempo as well, you look
say
like
it's
an
not
idiot.
designed for your everyday person, but these things trickle down so much that I can imagine a select group of people who go for that aero sort of look potentially getting one of these.
It's the Kask one is very likely the helmet that I would have bought 10 years ago because it actually looks quite neat. And it's presumably got some kind of absolutely minuscule aero advantage, which is something that I did care about once upon a time. Now I have no interest.
But this is something that's going to be a thing every year, because every year at one of the Grand Tours, somebody comes up with a ridiculous looking aero helmet. It happened last year as well. I can't remember the brand, but there's always something that comes out crazy because they don't think about what looks the best for this. They just think of what's going to be the fastest.
I wonder what it's like to have glasses underneath, because as a glasses wearer, it's the reason I wear my contacts when we do this podcast, because I also wear earphones over the top. And I feel like if I've got my glasses and then I have something else like a hat or something over the top, my ears and my head start to ache off the pressure of the glasses and then something else over the top. I wonder if that does that.
These come with magnetic visors.
No, if you look at the Kask one though, if you scroll down, he's just got some Sungods on underneath his...
Yeah, it's just, that's a normal helmet. I can't remember what model it is, but that's a normal Kask helmet that's got like a lowered...
Yeah.
Almost like fender.
And I think
that's
what the point of these is, isn't it? It's not a time trial helmet. It's the first time that a more aerodynamic ear thing has come into the road.
Yeah,
space.
It's the evolution of the road aero helmet for sure. Because I remember Met brought out the Manta, which was like, I had one of them because I thought it was wicked, and it was basically just like a bowl which goes on the top. There's loads of other variations of it. And this feels like it's the evolution of that. It's got or at least the Kask one I'm looking at here, a tiny bit of ventilation in the front. It's got elongated slightly. It's got these slight ear covery bits on the top. The Pock one looks like a TT helmet, and if you're saying it's got a clip-on visor, then it basically is a TT helmet that we're going to see more people using. But I think we're going to see more of this.
I don't think it lasts though.
Really?
Because Giro did the Air Attack years ago, which was a similar thing. I had one for like triathletes and everybody used it. And then Casco brought out one that is similar as well, that was used on the velodrome a lot. And the aerodynamics of it is massive. They back then they had a claim where one of those helmets gave you 11 times the benefit instead of Zip 808 at the time would have given you. So for fraction of the cost. You're getting a lot more speed than what Wheels were doing.
I'm willing to bet, and this is a huge amount of speculation, that they ended up retesting all of that stuff and found out it wasn't as good as it was originally
Well,
claimed.
no, because it's like all this testing, it's what metric you're using, when from the front or from the side, and they keep coming up with new things. So it's, yes, but that's why, I mean, haven't been quiet about aerodynamics being a bit of a, depends on who you're speaking to, who's riding the bike. It's not something that's just, you can't copy it for everyone. Also, what speed. But talking about all these helmets is, these kind of semi-TT helmets have been a thing for years. The average person is not buying it to go on a club ride. I know brands like Pock will be bringing out a new aero helmet as well eventually this year.
I think you're wrong. I think people will buy this Kask one because this Kask one looks like a normal helmet, but it's an aero helmet. So people will buy that Kask one because they're going to get 0.1 of a watt saving, but not look like a whopper with a like they would if they had the Pock one.
Well, that's debatable. I mean, it's